here, Dana Ferrand, and she is going to be leading you in a very, very powerful, powerful class called Finally Free, Unlocking the Remnants of Abuse from Your System. Before we get her on the line, I really just want you to know who this woman is. She is remarkable. Dana Ferrand is a creatrix. She works with women who are ready to stop playing the fiddle and to really truly own their power. She has a very unique approach to working with women to create radical massive changes in a very short period of time. Her multi-layered approach allows her all aspects of the person to be unlocked at the same time, so the change becomes easy and permanent and very fast. She's a master healer, life strategist, former dominatrix, past CEO, best-selling author, and a sought-after speaker that I'm delighted that you get to experience today. So the other thing I'd like to know is, with Dana, she actually grew up in a cult and she survived years of sexual and psychological abuse, and she has remarkably come through it. You would never know that she has it. She really does own her power. She's built a 7-figure business. She's really just thriving, and so it's a real treat for you to be able to listen to her for the next little while, so she can really help you to remove any remnants that may be still there and get them out of your way once and for all, so you can stop playing that second fiddle. She's really a remarkable one. Before I bring her on, I want to tell you a little bit about my experience with her and how much she's changed my life. I've been working with her for the last 3 months, and anybody that knows me knows that I'm highly successful. I've done extraordinary things in my lifetime, and yet I would go into situations before working with Dana. I would go into situations, and because of trauma that I've had, the underlying stuff that was still sitting there, even though I was outwardly powerful and outwardly doing stuff, I was still going into the situation and not negotiating to the speed that I really wanted to, not asking for truly what I wanted, being in situations where people would ask me something and deep down inside I didn't really want to do it, or I compromised and then I felt bad about it, or ended up in chaos because I didn't hold my ground. And yet I'm outwardly a very successful person. And so after working with Dana for the last 3 months, my life has completely shifted. My income has gone up substantially because now I can ask for exactly what I want and really hold my ground and don't feel any guilt about it. I don't feel any shame about it. And I'm also setting really healthy boundaries and saying no and saying yes to what I really want. And it's been an extraordinary experience being able to work with Dana. So I'm super excited that you get to spend the next little while with her. She's going to take you through some really great exercises. We do get some shifts today. And she just has a whole pile of wisdom for you. So everybody, please welcome Dana Ferrand. Hello, Dana.
Awesome. Thanks, Cindy. That is a fabulous introduction. It has been such a joy to work with you. You really have made some huge, huge changes. So yeah, I am very excited for today. We're going to look at the remnants of abuse. And this is something that I find not a lot of people are talking about. There's lots of work out there right now around, getting people to the point where they're okay, where they're surviving, where they're, able to function in their jobs, they're able to get things going to a certain level. But there's not a lot of people, like I said, not a lot of people talking about, what's underneath, what is there something beyond what has been available up until this point? And that's what I want to dive into today. So I know a lot of the people that are going to be watching this have already done a lot of work, and I completely get it. And for many of you, you might be thinking, well, what else is there, right? Like I'm doing good, I'm doing fine, and not realizing that there's things that can show up in your life that are actually a symptom of those remnants that are kicking around, right? The remnants can show up in things like money issues, right? And there's a range of money issues that can show up for people. So there is the typical, I don't have enough money. That can be a symptom or a result of these remnants of abuse. But there's also the pieces where it's like you're allowed to get to a certain level, You know, you're allowed to get to X amount of dollars, you're allowed to have X amount in your bank account. And if you go beyond that, then there's this little sabotage thing that happens, or things kind of fall apart. I've seen people who are allowed to accumulate wealth, but they're not allowed to enjoy it, right? So they have massive amounts of money in their bank account, but they're not allowed to spend it. They live like they're paupers, right? So there's lots of different ways that this money thing can show up. And it's really all around the same kind of theme, which we're going to talk about later. We're going to talk about what the underlying piece is and why that shows up for people, right? So the other one that I see really big is relationships, right? And it makes sense. If you've had abuse, then it really sets up a strange dynamic for you in interacting with people. There's the relationships, the romantic relationships that it can interfere with, whether that be with same sex or opposite sex, whatever your thing is, it doesn't matter. The underlying piece is the same. A relationship is a relationship. There's also a really big piece around your friendships, your family relationships, right? I see people who have great relationships with their family, and they're able to set some really nice boundaries and be really clear. And then they allow friends to come along and walk all over them and take advantage of them. And I also see people that do the reverse. So they have really great tight relationships, you know, tight boundaries and things with their friends. But then when it comes to their family, they let their family just walk all over them, right? And these can be symptoms of that underlying pieces, the underlying remnants of the abuse, which we're going to talk about and get to, right? My other big one that I see is around body, right? How many of you, do you feel really comfortable in your body? Do you feel comfortable with exactly as you are? Not when you lose 10 pounds, when you lose 15 pounds, whatever, you know, do you feel really comfortable exactly as you are? And if the answer is no, then this may be one of the big symptoms of the underlying abuse, is that discomfort in your own body, right? That's a really big one. Food, right, which goes kind of along with the body. Compulsive eating is a big one with abuse. And the stats for compulsive eating and sexual abuse, they say that 2/3 of women who have been sexually abused end up with some sort of food disorder. So, you know, likely you've done a lot of work, you've done a lot of healing, and, you know, so it may not be a full-blown anorexia or a full-blown, you know, binge eating type deal, but there may be those times where you're, you know, just kind of binging a little bit on chocolate, or eating maybe a little too much in the way of potato chips, or you drink an extra glass of wine when you're feeling stressed, you know, little things that is just not quite the right, or, you know that you shouldn't eat a particular food and yet you continue to eat it, even though it makes you feel bad, right? So these are really key symptoms of those underlying pieces, and why we want to really dig out the remnants of the abuse, so that you can go from an okay, mediocre life and taking the limits off of that and moving into having everything that you desire, not just okay. So today we're going to go through some tools. We're going to talk about some clearings and get you moving, get you started on the process of getting rid of these remnants of abuse. And of course, you know, for those of you who are interested in really diving deeper, we are going to talk about an upcoming 2-day workshop, which I am so excited about. I'm excited because of the amount of change that is possible with this, and how it's going to unlock things for people in their body, in their life, in their relationship, in their money, right? It's really going to trickle out through all of it. And we will talk about that at the end. So just to let you know, that's an absolute possibility. Like I said, for those of you who are really ready to just dive right in there and get into more, okay? So before we get into our tools, so, you know, I have a little notes here to keep me on track. So before we get into our tools, I want to tell you just a little bit about my story. I know Cindy kind of gave that away a little bit in my introduction. But I want you to know just my story, just from the fact that I do get it. I do understand. And I'm coming from the place of that I've been there, I've healed it, and it is possible to get over all of this, right? So growing up, I grew up in a mild cult. So I grew up Jehovah's Witness. And to me, that was very much a cult because they alienate you. And that is a form of religious abuse. Okay, it's very brainwashing. And I also went through multiple types of sexual abuse from various members of my family. And my stepmother was psychologically quite abusive, playing mind games and whatnot. So I had a lot of things going on in my childhood. And I went through a lot of counseling in the early years, and that was great. I have, had a lot of release. It was like, okay, that's good. I don't feel like I need to, murder people, which is good, right? But there was always this low grade. I couldn't get comfortable with my body. I was having money problems. I picked a partner who was terrible for me, that perpetuated the same psychological stuff as my stepmother, right? So some of you may relate to this story. The good thing is that in the work that I've done in the last 3 years, I have really changed so much of the underlying programming in my system. And what I've discovered is that there's a multi-layer to this and to everything, really. Whenever I'm working with people, I find that there's multiple layers of what's going on, right? So we can shift what's going on at the emotional level, but then if we don't change the other layers, which is our mental, our mindset, the energetic, the spiritual, right? We need that and the emotional. We need all of them to change at once instead of just one, because if we just change the emotional, then the other three kind of pull it back and you get backwards slide. So the difference here is that what I've discovered with the work is to really work on all 4 layers at the same time, changing everything, and so that the whole system is congruent, and it becomes a matter of, the change happens so dynamically that you don't even know you had the problem, which is a great issue, right? It's a challenge for me because when I'm working with people, they don't know that they had a problem, so they don't know to tell their friends that they're all better now, right? So, but this is what can happen for you when we start to look at changing this multi-layered approach and changing what's going on all levels of the symptoms, all levels of the system, so that it's more complete, more dynamic, and you really move forward with ease, right? So that's a tiny bit about my story. I don't want to get into details because it's really not about me, but it's more just to let you know that I do get it. I have been there, and I have been through the healing work and come out the other side. And yes, there is something way better out the other side of that. All right. At this point, I have a whole lot more ease with my body. My money flows are way different. I'm way more at ease with that. Maybe I'm not making millions, but I'm really happy with where I'm going. And I see things continuing to climb up instead of capping off, which was my big loop for a long time. The compulsive eating has really shifted for me. I was a huge one for every time I got stressed, I would just binge on chocolate. And that has changed. That has dynamically changed. I find that it's like I can actually, those people that talk about they have, one piece of chocolate and they feel satisfied. I never got that. It was like, what? Why wouldn't you eat the whole chocolate bar? I now am actually able to experience that piece of like, oh, I can feel satisfied with just one piece of chocolate. Very powerful, very freeing. That's the big thing. Okay, which is where I've called this Core Freedom, which is the 2-day workshop. So that's to give you kind of a sneak peek at what is possible for you. And then, I want to just dive into the tools a little bit, because really that's what we're here for, is to get you some clearing, give you a sample of what this can do. I will let you know that the 2-day workshop that we're doing is also going to bring in the layer of working with the body and the energy much more dynamically than in this format. So keep that in mind, but I do expect that most of you will experience a shift from today, which I'm very excited about.
And Dana, I think it's important to note that what you do, because a lot of the stuff out there to help people with abuse is very much having to process your entire past and go and relive the whole thing, and it's extremely painful. So I think it's really important for people to know this is completely painless. You're not going to have to be brought back to your past. You're not going to have to process. It's not going to trigger anything in you. It's so easy and so simple.
Yeah. Thanks, Cindy. Yeah, that really is. Because I know my first set of therapy that I did 25 years ago was very much one of those, you dredge it up and you talk about it and you relive it and you cry and you cry and you cry and you cry and you cry. And you come out of there exhausted because you're just doing so much processing, right? And every time you do a session, then you need 3-4 days to process it. That is the beauty of this, because we are working so dynamically with all the layers of the system. There isn't that processing. We don't need to process it, because typically you'd work with just the emotions, and then you'd have to process to try to get these guys to come up along with it, right? So that's part of the difference there. So thanks, Cindy. I tend to forget that one.
Oh, yeah, it's a big one. I mean, I have, like you, done years of every possible type of coaching, every possible type of therapy, you name it, I probably tried it. And it got to the point where I see a little bit of improvement, but nothing really drastic. And in the meantime, I had gone through hell and back having to relive everything. And so working with you has been amazing, because it's so fast, it's painless, and I don't have to relive anything, and all of a sudden it's just gone. So I'm super excited that you're going to take everybody through a little bit of a piece of it today.
Yeah, awesome. So one of the things that in looking at this topic, Cindy and I had a great talk beforehand. We were really kind of strategizing on, what's the area that's going to give you guys a lift, a little taste of it, get you some shifting and get you an idea of what this can do. And so we were talking about looking at the idea of deserving and, being punished. And Cindy, it was so great. You brought up that piece about, when somebody has been through abuse, there is that pattern, and for some of you, you've experienced this pattern. Some of you may not, but there's typically a pattern with an abuser where, the high is really great. They'll take you out for dinner and they treat you like royalty and it's really great. And then you come back home and then they beat the crap out of you, right? So there's this dynamic that gets set up where everything good comes at a price. And I think that's a really good piece to look at, because I think that's kind of an underlying program, one of the underlying programs for people of why you're not able to accept good things, more good things into your life, right? It's that idea that if I have something great, then I'm going to be punished for it. And so I just want to keep everything on this nice, even keel so that I don't have to suffer the consequences later for having something great. And that's what I want to start with today, is to start to look at, that piece around deserving and punishment, to start to unlock that from your system. So first of all, just as a base level, what I want you to do, I want you to check in and, think about something that you are looking to go for. So whether it's in your business, in your life, bringing in a relationship, it could be anything, it doesn't matter what it is. For those of you that have notes, you may want to just jot it down what it is. So am I looking to bring in a relationship? Am I looking to grow my business by whatever percentage? Put it out there. What's the bigger goal that you've been wanting to stretch yourself to, but you have been kind of like on the fence with it. Okay, so once you've got that in mind, then I want you to, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being absolutely positively, I'm like 100% there. And maybe even start the scale at 0, because for some of you, it may be a 0. And that's okay, because that gives us a place to start. Okay, so on a scale of 0 to 10, how much do you feel that you deserve and you're willing to go for that? Whatever it is. Okay, and be honest. The first number that pops up in your head, go with that. If it's 0, it's 0. It's okay. Because what you might find is that by the end of this little segment, that'll shift for you. That's what I'm hoping. Okay, so write that number down. Okay, because it's good to know where we start and where we finish. We've got a little base mark. Okay. So, are you ready for some tools? Awesome. So one of the things that I do with the clearing is I keep this very simple. It is a combination of some verbal processing, but also it is mostly an energetic piece. Okay, so how this works is that we'll actually get you to get in touch with whatever it is that's kind of stuck in your system. So I will say some stuff to kind of trigger a little bit, but not in the way of like, I'm going to make you go back and relive the experience. We just want to grab a hold of the energy that is stuck in your system. Okay, so we're gonna say something to just kind of allow you to tap into that, get a hold of it, whatever it is, right? And you may have an image, you may have a sensation in your body, or either one. It's all right, it's all good. All right, and then what you're going to do is you're going to be invited to release it and destroy it. And then I'm going to throw a 1, 2, 3. It's kind of like an energy ball to just kind of break it up. It just kind of dislodges it from your system. All right. And if you haven't done any of this kind of work before, this might sound really kind of strange at this point, that I'm just going to like throw this little ball and you're going to be healed. But the thing is that energy has no boundaries. Right? It follows intention. So my intention is for it to reach whoever is watching this. So it will reach you. All right. And it will start to create some change and some shift. And the nice thing is that it's easy. It's simple. It's not traumatic. Like Cindy said, we're not reliving any of your trauma, but we're just going to tap into all the places that it's gotten stuck and you don't need it. Right? So, Cindy, if you can give me feedback, does that feel like that's a clear explanation?
Here's the thing, Dana, is until you experience it, you don't really get it. So what I'm going to suggest to everybody is just to surrender without having to know. And the more you just go, oh, okay, so just follow what Dana's telling you to do, which she says expand out, whatever that means for you, expand out. So it's really about just following it and just not analyzing it. The more you try to analyze it and get in your head about it, the less it's going to work. Because she goes so deep right to the point of creation of what's happened and destroys it. She's going to destroy it right before it, so it's gone forever. But you just have to surrender to it. Just trust the process.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks, Cindy. So so just play with it, be open, and allow whatever to shift will shift. Okay. So it's not about thinking it. I'd like you to get out of your brain. All right. So in dealing with the piece of punishment and deserve. So what I'm going to get you to do, first of all, I'm going to back it up just a tiny bit and throw in one more tool before we play with this, because the base tool that I need everybody to get is this expand out. Okay. Because if you're sitting there with your walls up and you've got huge resistance to me, this will not work. Okay. So it's really important that I get everybody to just lower those walls down. So right now, take your walls and I want you to drop them down, all the way 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 down. Yep. All them down. Okay. I'm just asking for 15, 20 minutes for you to drop them down. You can put them back up when we're done. That's okay. All right. But in order for this to work, you're going to need to drop those walls down. And then as you drop your walls down, you can allow your energy field to expand out. Okay, it happens naturally. You drop the walls down, then all of a sudden it's like, oh, you've got room to expand out. Okay, and so you're going to expand out and way, way out. Okay, so what we're aiming for is, go out as big as the world, and then go out as big as a galaxy, and as big as the universe. Right, so expand all the way out. The more expanded out you are, the easier it is on your system. Okay, and I'll give it just a quick explanation with the expand out. Why this is so important is that the more expansive you are, the less everybody else's stuff gets stuck to you. Okay, so if we imagine other people's stuff is like post-it notes, when you contract in and you put your walls up, then you are solid like a wall, and you can stick all kinds of post-it notes on a wall, right? So that's why everybody's stuff gets stuck in there and you feel like crap. But if you expand out, you become like the wind, and you can't stick a single post-it note on the wind. Okay, so it is actually safer to be expanded out than to be contracted in with the walls. Okay, and I know for some of you that is going to just jar your brain a little bit, really create a disruption in, everything that you've believed and everything that you've been told, and I need to shield, I need to bubble, and I need to do but I want you just for today, just for the next 20 minutes, trust me for a moment, play with it. Okay, so everybody drop your walls down, drop them down, expand out. See if you can expand out a little further. Good. Okay, so what I'm going to invite you to do is I want you just to allow yourself to tap in to all the places in your body where this deserve punishment dynamic has been stuck. Okay, and so expand out and grab all of it. And you can just throw it in a big pile in front of you. Yeah. So everywhere, if you get more, you're going to be punished. Everywhere that, having stuff means that you're bad. Everywhere having stuff means that something bad's going to happen. Everywhere you're waiting for the other shoe to drop, just expand out and just grab it all. Grab it all. Grab it all. Yep. And it's really important that we also go back through the lifetimes, and we're going to grab all that from the previous lifetimes as well. So you're going to expand out and just keep throwing it on the pile. Okay, don't worry about what it is. You can just tap into, yeah, it's that. Just that. I have no words for it, but that. And throw it on the pile. Okay, so keep expanding out. Grab more. Everywhere you're waiting for the other shoe to drop. Expand out, grab more. 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 There we go. Starting to get there. About 75%. Expand out, grab more. Expand out, grab more. Good. Okay, so all of that pile in front of you, everything it has meant to you and everywhere it's been stuck in your system, are you now willing to release and destroy it all? And I'm going to assume you say yes. I'm going to do a 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay. And then just in case there's some left for some of you, okay, everything that's remaining that didn't go the first time, are you now willing to release and destroy all of that on 3? 1, 2, 3. Good. Okay. All right, so Cindy, since you get to be my my voice, is there another layer that comes up for you, or you imagine you can tap in that's coming up for other people?
Good question. We've done so much clearing of it. The answer is no. Sorry. We've done a lot of clearing, you and I.
We have.
I think that what did come up was a worthiness piece of that.
Okay, cool. And you know what? I would love to just touch on the idea that worthy is a lie. Okay, because I'm really sick and tired of hearing people talk about, I need to be worthy. I need to feel worthy. I need to clear this so that I feel worthy. the thing is that, and you know, you guys, you get to take what you want, leave the rest. But if this fits for you, take it on. When you buy into the idea that you could possibly ever be worthy or charge what you're worth or any of that, you buy into this loop of judging yourself, because you have to determine, are you worthy? Right? So I would really invite everybody to give up the construct, this concept that you could ever be worthy, that you could ever charge what you're worth. Okay? Because it is an absolute lie. Okay? And again, those are my personal opinions. If you like the worthy and that's working for you, then keep it. But just to check in, you know, does it kind of keep you judging yourself and trying to, you know, measure up? I think it's another measurement piece that in the new age world, it's another way to measure. Do you measure up? It's just like with a lot of, you know, the religion that I grew up in, there was always the, you know, do you measure up? How godly are you? How much are you putting in? You know, there was constant judgment of what you were doing, right? So let's grab a hold of all of that. So I want you to expand out again, okay? Because it could trigger some stuff. So expand out and allow yourself to really grab a hold of everywhere that program of worthiness has been stuck in your system. Okay. So yeah, so expand out and just kind of like allow yourself to pull it out of your body. Pull it out, pull it out. This whole belief of worthiness, you need to be worthy, you need to feel worthy, you need to charge what you're worth, right? Oh, it is time. Let's just throw that all on a big pile. Yeah, can we please be done with that? It's such a crap. Okay, yeah, keep expanding out, keep grabbing more. And I want you to go back, grab all the lifetimes, everywhere in all the past lifetimes that you've had this belief, this program of worthiness stuck in your system. And see if you can allow yourself to go all the way back to the very first time that you bought the idea that worthiness exists, that worthiness is possible. Okay, so just allow yourself to expand out and just go all the way back and just like put your hand on it. I know you can do it. So just grab it energetically and throw it on the pile. You know, for those of you who are more kinesthetic, you know, like just pull the stuff out of your body and throw it there. Like that's fine. And for those of you who like to do visual, imagine pulling it out of your body and throwing it there. For those of you that are the auditory people, you can like hear it. You can hear it rumbling around and falling onto the pile and making a big noise, right? And there's my neighbors. So yeah, so just keep expanding out, grab more, because it's going to be stuck. I want you to look everywhere in your body, right? Check into all the cells of your body, every single cell, right down the tips of your toes. Check your liver, check all your organs. Yeah, just keep pulling it out. Ooh, okay. We're just going to really go deep with this. Really go deep. We're going to take some time to really pull it all out, as much as you are willing to let go of today. Pull it out, throw it on the pile. Pull it out, throw it on the pile. Okay. All right. Now you've got a pile of programs. So we're going to actually address the programs a little bit differently than the last batch. All right. So this time, that programs that are there, we first of all want to shut off the communication that goes on between the programs. So that pile, you're going to give the command to that pile that all the intercommunication is going to terminate. Okay? So all intercommunications terminate. And then we're going to shut off the programs themselves. So you're going to give the command that all programs terminate. Okay. And say it as many times as you need until you feel like that's it. They're shut off. Okay. All programs terminate. You have the ability to shut them off. I want you to trust that. These are your programs. You installed them. You've been keeping them running, so you have the ability to turn them off. Okay, good. All programs terminate. Now, once it feels like all the programs have terminated, then what I'm going to do is we're going to do a little visual. So we're going to bring in a nice big bubble, and you're going to put that beside your pile of crap, okay? And we're going to do some recycling. So we're going to pull out the latent energy from those programs and just allow the bubble to just suck up all that latent energy, that basically that source energy that you use to create those programs in the first place. You're going to pull it out of the bubble, or sorry, pull it out of the programs and into the bubble. Leave the crap, okay? So we're going to leave the shells, but just recycle that energy. You're going to pull that out, pull it out, pull it out, pull it out, pull it out. Almost there. Pull it out, pull it out, pull it out. Pull it out. Good. Okay. So now that bubble, just move it off to the side for a moment. And I love to play with visuals because I'm a visual person, so that works for me. But you're going to imagine bringing in this nice big galactic vacuum. And it's just going to suck up all that debris. Up, right? So it's all the empty shells of the programs, all the crap there. It's just going to suck it up and get it totally out of your way. All right. Now that bubble, we're going to bring that back over to us. So you're going to bring that over to your body. Okay. And you're going to allow yourself to take in that energy. Okay. All that beautiful, pure source energy. You're going to allow that to come back into your body and into your being. Okay. And as it percolates through, I want you to allow it to create some new programs. And the new programs are going to allow you to really connect with you as an infinite being. To really connect with the fact that you know exactly what you know. You know what's best for you. You know what's going to work for you. And that you will trust your knowing from here on in. Okay, so take a moment and just breathe that in and allow it, like I said, allow it to percolate into every single cell in your body. Yeah, every single cell, all the way through. Ooh, I'm actually getting tingles. And allow it to expand out into your being as well, right? So allow it to just, all of it. Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. Okay, we'll just give you a second here just to breathe that in. Really let it move through all the layers, every cell in your body. Nice deep breath. Breathing is good. Oxygen for the body. Okay, good. Just another second. Just breathe that in all the way through. Good, good, good. Okay, so now let's go back and check on the thing that you wrote down that you wanted to bring into your life. Okay, so on a scale of 0 to 10, how willing are you and how deserving do you feel of it? How much does that feel like a possibility now? And then write that new number down. And I'm going to trust that there's been a bit of a shift. Okay. Good. So let's go through one more aspect. And Cindy, what are you picking up on that the next piece do you think that they need around this? Oh, Cindy, you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay. Okay.
I'm just so super relaxed right now. I'm kind of in a zone.
In the zone. Okay. All right. I was just using you to tap into say what else. So else on the deserve level. Okay. I know we've actually said that word, but the deserve thing is also like the worthiness in that is also a lie. It is also a piece that for most people, they use that to judge themselves. I don't deserve that. I don't deserve to be happy. I don't deserve to be thin. I don't deserve to be healthy. And sometimes, like at this point, you guys have probably done so much work that that's not a cognitive thought running through your head. It's just this underlying piece of, I don't deserve to be really healthy. I don't deserve to be really sexy. I don't deserve to be really wealthy, right? You're allowed to have a certain amount, but you don't deserve to have a lot of it. Okay, so let's see if we can unwind all of the programs that are stuck around deserve and this idea that you could possibly deserve anything or that you even need to deserve anything, right? Maybe you don't have to wait until you deserve. Because if you're waiting until you deserve, but deserve is actually a lie, you will always be waiting because deserve will never come. All right, cool. So we're going to go through the similar program that we did with the worthiness piece. So I'm going to get you to, first of all, drop any more walls that have come up, right? Expand out. Let's see if you can expand out further. Okay. Expand out further. Sorry, I'm having a moment here because I'm realizing my phone might die. Might lose Cindy. So expand out further. And I'm going to get you to just allow yourself to tap in to the programs of deserve. The programs that have been installed in you that you have to wait until you deserve it. That you have to wait until somebody else tells you that you deserve it. Ooh, that's a big one. Yeah. That you've had to wait until somebody else can tell you that you deserve it. Let's grab those, okay? And just throw them on the pile. All those programs, all the programs, all the programs, all the programs, right? Hear them, see them, feel them, whichever works for you, and go all the way back, all the lifetimes. So everything behind you, everything that's hidden below you, grab them all. Grab them all. And see if you can allow yourself to just go all the way back to the very first time that you took that on. Okay, grab that and throw that on the pile. Good. Yeah, just keep throwing it all on the pile, all on the pile, all on the pile. Good. So we're going to go through the same process. So you're going to tell all the programs that all the intercommunication between them, done. All intercommunications terminate. And all programs terminate. Good. All programs terminate. Good, good, good. Okay. And then we're going to bring in that bubble. And you're going to extract that energy. Extract that latent energy. Pull it out, pull it out, pull it out, pull it out. Good. And just keep pulling it out from the programs. Leave the crap, pull it out, leave the crap. Pull it out, leave the crap. Good. Okay. And then just move the bubble off to the side. Bring in the galactic vacuum to suck up the debris. And then bring the bubble over to yourself. And allow that energy to come into your body and into your being. And allow it to percolate through every single cell in your body. Right? Allowing you to know that you are an infinite being and there's no such thing as deserve. You can just choose to have it. Because you're here. And for no other reason. It really is as simple as that. So allow that energy to just move through all your body, all your being. Move through. Good. Good. Okay. So once again, we'll get you to check in on that piece, the first piece that you said you wanted to bring into your life, whether it's a relationship or something for your business or more money or losing weight, whatever that was, check it in. How willing are you to have that fully show up now? How much does that seem like a possibility? Okay. And if your number is not a 10, then there's a couple of things that could be piece. Either you need to re-listen to this and allow yourself to go through the exercises again to clear off more of the layers, or there's another aspect of what's going on that we need to clear off. And of course, in this format, it's really hard to, to get that feedback. But if I was working one-on-one with you, then we would just keep diving in until we find the very root of it, dig that out and throw it out. Okay. And it's very fast. When I can work one-on-one with people, or even if they're in front of me in a group, it's a lot easier for me to tap in to what's really going on. Having something pre-recorded, I have to guess and project into the future, which is a little different skill set. So yeah, so that's part of where I really look forward to having some of you in my 2-day class so that we can dive much deeper into this and get it unlocked from your system, and also bringing in that the hands-on energy body processes as well, so that it changes things at a level that is beyond your brain. Because sometimes when we do things with what we call verbal processing, that your brain kind of gets in the way from releasing it from the body. And so if we can shut off the brain and just allow the body to have the energy that'll change things, it shifts it on a whole nother level. Okay. So so basically the tools, you can completely use these tools on your own. Okay. The first one that we went through, really easy. You just tap into something that's going on. And then, it's like, okay, am I ready to get rid of that? Great. Blast it out, right? You can do 1, 2, 3, you can blast it. You can, it doesn't matter what the actual saying or hand gestures or any of that. Do what works for you. It's the intention of getting rid of it that gets rid of it. Okay. So you can work with that. You can play with the recording, and you can substitute in something new and run through it, listen to my voice to guide you through it, right? Those are things you can do there. So hopefully that has created some shift and some lift for you. And like I said, for the 2-day workshop, for those of you that really want to get a little bit further with this and you really want to unlock the body piece of it, then I would highly suggest and invite you to come to one of the 2-day classes, right? So I will be sending out an email to you. So the dates coming up is in June and in August. So the last weekend of June and the first weekend of August. Okay. And you don't need to do both. It's one or the other. The class has 4 hours of recordings like this to get you prepped for the workshop. And then at the workshop, we're going to go through all the different aspects of how things get stuck in your system, what the abuse ends up showing up as, and just way beyond what we've touched on today. We're going to go really, really deep with it. The idea is that at the end of the 2 days, you really will experience a huge lift, a huge shift, and so much more ease in your body. I know my voice is running out. I know that if you're willing If you come with a willingness to change, then you will have huge changes in the class. And I also know that is a big promise to make, because most likely you've done a lot of therapy and it's like, well, why should this be any different? It's different because, like we said, we're working on all those layers at the same time. And by working on all the layers at the same time, we can create a shift that is way more dynamic than you've had before, right? So I want you to imagine what it would be like if you were free of all these remnants of the abuse. What it would be like for you if you had total ease with your body, if you were able to completely love your body exactly as it is, if you were able to pick relationships that worked for you instead of against you, if you were able to set those healthy boundaries with your friends and your family and your partners, right? What would your life be like? And what would your life be like if you weren't afraid to ask for what you wanted in your business or in your job? Yeah, that's the kind of shift and outcome that I see for you in the 2-day workshop. So again, for those of you who are ready, the workshop is $795 for the 2 days plus the recordings. You're going to have huge dynamic changes, right? You're going to feel a big lift. You're going to have everything, all the workshop is going to be recorded, so you're going to be able to listen to it again. And I also have a special gift. For the first 10 people in each of the dates, you can bring a friend for free. So you get a free ticket for a friend, because most of us know somebody else who's been through this as well, who could really use to get unlocked. So I would love for you to be able to gift it to somebody or split the cost, whatever works for you, right? But to get more people free of these remnants and get people really fully stepping into a life beyond okay, and really going for that space of complete gratitude for everything in your life, gratitude for who you are, gratitude for your body exactly as it is. That is what I would love for you. And I would love it if you join me either in June or in August. So I'll turn it back over to Cindy.
Absolutely. So Dana, there's a couple of things. How do they find out the information? Do they email you? Do they call you?
Yeah. So because we had a little glitch with our recording, I'm going to email out the links for the signups, but people are more than welcome to email me. So dana@danaferrant.com. And if you need to do a payment plan, please email me. We can absolutely make arrangements for that. That's okay. Okay. So that's
right.
that.
And how about for people who are not local, or people who are not available during those times, or people who, have been through a lot and don't necessarily want to be in a group? What can they do?
Yeah, great question, Cindy. So for those that are not local, there are air flights in. But there's also, I am more than happy if you have a group out where you are, and you want to talk about bringing me out, and if you have like a group of say 10, I'm absolutely happy to talk to you about coming out there and treating, working with your group for 2 days. We can set up a weekend and get all that going. And then the piece about because I know some people, it's like, oh, I don't want to share my shit in front of people, right? I don't want to talk about what I went through, or I don't want to, just not comfortable in front of a group. Then please email me and we can talk about setting up some one-on-one sessions, and you can come up here or I can go down there and we can really, dive into it really deeply on a one-to-one level. So.
Great. Good. I'm just seeing a couple of questions coming in from the chat box from the back end here. So I've already done a lot of work, how it's getting different.
Yeah. And this is one of those things where I'm going to get you to really check into what you know. Okay? Because you energetically, you know whether something's going to be a fit for you or not. And so it's not about your logical mind. And it's like, I can tell you and say, this is going to be so different. But then that's just me saying it's going to be different. So what I'd like you to do instead is to check in for you. It's like, oh, what would my life be like in 5 years if I take this workshop? Right? And does that feel really light and expansive, or does that feel heavy and contracted? And you can compare it to what would my life be like in 5 years if I don't take this workshop. And so be willing to follow the energy, and like the more expansive it is, the more it's going to change your life, the more dynamic it's going to be. And what if we did things based on how much it's going to create for our life, as opposed to what we logically think is the right fit? Because Cindy, I know for me, anytime I follow my logic, I usually end up in trouble. But when I follow my intuition, when I follow my gut, it's like it's bang on every time, right? It's always right.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, and I think that if you are having a hard time getting it, whether it's light or heavy for you, because sometimes I do, it's because I'm getting in my own way and I'm self-sabotaging. So if you find that you're not getting a clear answer, stand out, as Dana teaches us, and ask yourself, is there something contaminating my energy that's stopping me from being able to make the right decision? And if you get a yes, then you want to clear it away.
Beautiful. Yeah, and then you can just blast that out. So, and along with that, you said about the right decision, because there is no right or wrong decision. And I think that's the thing. It's like, what if you came to this workshop just for fun? Just to be around people who could to love and support and nurture you for a weekend. For a lot of people who have been through abuse, I mean, that in itself would be hugely life altering, right? To just allow yourself to go to something like this without it being well, this is for work, or this will make me money, or right. It's just go because it's nurturing, because it's kind, because it's loving. Honestly, that can shift a lot.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do we have any more questions there, or did we cover them all?
Hold on, I just check. I feel like I've kind of asked a couple of, wait. I think somebody's worried about confidentiality. Again, it's a sensitive topic, right?
Yeah, for sure. And, I do ask everyone and have them sign a waiver at the beginning of the workshop that everything that is said in the workshop is to be kept confidential. And although we are going to record it, it is only for the use of the people in the workshop. It is not for public broadcast. And that, oh, there goes the phone. Okay, so I lost Cindy. So, oh, you're there. Okay. That was just my phone giving me my final warning. So, yeah, so everything is to be confidential. And if people are not willing to keep it confidential and to keep the recordings strictly for themselves, that they will be asked to leave. So.
Right. The other thing I want to mention when we were talking about how do you know if it's great for you to expand out and do all that stuff, I also want to mention, because I know your work, if you are at that stage where you have not done a ton of work on this yet, and even just thinking about it makes the burst of tears, it's probably better to start working with Dana one-on-one first. The group stuff is super effective once you've done at least a little bit of work.
Yeah, thanks, Cindy. That's a great point. I love having you do this with me. It's like my second brain. Yeah, I love you. So yeah, absolutely. If you're new to addressing your abuse issues, and it doesn't matter how long ago they were, if you're new to it and you need to, then we can probably clear a lot of it in even 3-4 sessions. So it doesn't have to be a long, in-depth process. You see what I'm doing. It can be very quick. We can get you ready for the workshop. But yeah, we definitely want to touch base ahead of time to get you ready so that you're at the same point with everybody else in the workshop. So,
awesome.
Yeah.
That's excellent. Good.
Thank you.
Good. So, because your phone is dying, can you give us your contact information? Is it Dana@DanaFerrant.com?
Yeah, the email is Dana@DanaFerrant.com. And everybody that signed up for the webinar will get a follow-up email. And then I'll put that into, I'll make sure I get that into the screen. Yeah, so I think we've covered everything.
Perfect.
Cool.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. This has been excellent. Really amazing. Even for me, I started at an 8 out of a 10 because you've already done so much work with me, and I was solidly at a 10.
Oh,
it was really remarkable.
Awesome. See, so even if you've done a lot of work, there's still room. We can grow and we can make it like 100%, which is fabulous, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing. Thank you. And I'm sure that everybody is thanking you from their phones and from their computers right now. This was really extraordinary and eye-opening and painless. Pleasurable, actually. But there you go. We all got to expand out and release, and it's been fantastic. Thank you for opening everyone's eyes and possibilities of what's possible. And yeah, I can't wait for your weekends. They're going to be amazing.
Fabulous. Thanks, Cindy.
Thanks, everyone.
Okay, bye.
Hey, are you still there?
Yep, I'm just going to shut off the recording.
Okay, you want Skype?
Yeah.
With your phone?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to hang up and just Skype me.
Okay.
Okay, bye.
Or I can plug in. Well, no, I'll Skype you because then I can see you.